It's now been more than a week since unprecedented flooding ravaged the hill country in central Texas. So far, more than 129 people are dead, including 27 children and staff members who were at the beloved Christian girls' camp, Camp Mystic. Many are examining why a better warning system wasn't in place when leaders had been sounding the alarm. As far back as 2016, some Kerr County officials had acknowledged the need for an advanced flood warning system. And just last October, local officials reiterated that need in a report, warning that the area was likely to experience a flood event in the next year. Now, among those pushing for change, Samantha Gore, who grew up going to a summer camp along the Guadalupe River. Gore is fighting to bring awareness to what she believes is an overlooked factor in this devastating flooding: the impact of climate change. Joining us now is Samantha Gore, a Texas native and climate change advocate. Samantha, thank you so much for joining us and for being here at the table this evening. I want to begin with just how you're doing and what it's been like for you to process this. You went to camp in this area. You are connected to people who were directly impacted by the floods. So just take us into what the past week has been like for you.
Well, when I first saw the news, it was shocking. It was shocking to see, you see floods all the time, but to see a place that was so familiar and that held so many special childhood memories, and to sort of have that replaced by death and destruction, and to know what it is to have been a camper, at a camp right up the road. And like the pictures just showed, we had generations of family that attended these camps. These camps were Christian camps, many of them. They were magical. They provided space for, spirituality and reflection and becoming a better person, but also things that you don't have access to in other places, like horseback riding and canoeing and archery. And they were absolutely lovely places to spend summers.
Can I ask you about the response to this, and specifically what Donald Trump has said about the early warning system when he was there touring the area? Let me play you the soundbite and get your reaction to it. Watch.
Here with CBS News Texas, several families we've heard from are obviously upset because they say that those warnings, those alerts didn't go out in time, and they also say that people could have been saved. What do you say to those families?
Only a bad person would ask a question like that, to be honest with you. I don't know who you are, but only a very evil person would ask a question like that.
To be clear for our viewers who may not have heard the question was more about those warnings, those alerts, saying that the families were saying they did not go out in time and that people could have been saved, to which he responded by calling the reporter basically an evil person.
Yeah, this is one of the most upsetting things. I think we've all now seen that some of these cuts made by DOJ led very likely directly to the deaths of children that took place in Texas. We know that there was a meteorologist that had been working at one of the National Weather Service offices in Texas for many years, whose job it would have been to make sure that these alerts that came in the middle of the night got out to the community and gained traction in the way that they needed to save lives. And that didn't happen because this person had taken an early retirement because of DOJ cuts, and they weren't replaced. So here we have a direct link between choices made by this administration and the deaths of children.
From your previous experience, were there alerts common in those areas for a type of, from your community, from the people you know, from your own experiences, were alerts a common thing in that area?
That is an area that we know is common to flood. And as climate change gets worse, we can expect that areas that are more likely to flood are going to be the first places that are going to be hit harder and hit worse and lead to mass deaths. So, if people want to comfort themselves at night and say, well, this is a flood-prone area, well, we know that because of climate change, storms are getting deadlier and they're happening more frequently. In the past 15 years alone, the United States has experienced 24 500-year flood events.
Wow.
So it seems like, obviously, this was a natural disaster, and as we've said before, probably there was going to be a lot of destruction and maybe casualties no matter what, but there were multiple layers of government failure here. We've talked about the federal aspect of these things, including FEMA not being able to answer phones because the contract lapsed. There's also reporting that in 2021, Kerr County was awarded a $10 million windfall, a grant from the American Rescue Plan in order to that could have been used, rather, for funding flood warning systems, but Kerr County did not opt for ARPA to fund flood warning systems, despite commissioners discussing such projects nearly 24 times since 2016. And the reporting from the Texas Tribune suggests that that might be related to responses from local residents who were skeptical of government intervention, which I think just, suggests how poisonous our politics have become. How do you think those kinds of discussions about the role of government in preventing or in funding infrastructure might change going forward where you grew up, given that people have seen the real cost?
Well, that's the big question, right? We don't know how people are going to process this and react, but we do know that the decision of this administration to defund the National Weather Service it's unthinkable. It's dangerous. It's morally corrupt. We know that many more storms are coming, and we know that without these services fully funded, without the National Weather Service fully funded, without NOAA fully funded, many people are going to die. Many children are going to die, and when they do, it's going to be the fault of this administration and the members of Congress who voted for this ugly bill.
Samantha Gore, thank you so much
Thank you, Samantha.
for coming on the show with us and talking about your personal connection to this area.
Thank you. I just want to say, too, as the mother of a 6-year-old child, every day I think about keeping her safe, and I wonder if I will be able to keep her safe with these cuts to the National Weather Service. And many parents are wondering the same thing.
Yeah, I'm sure that is the case. Coming up,